As we wrap up a really warm week, we're going to find blue skies once again as we look outside. It's been nice to be outdoors, though a little bit warm at times, but overall to just kind of get the summer started, it's just nice to be outside and find some good weather. That's just exactly what we have here in Perrysburg and all of Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. And even as we get started here with the month of June, you're going to find that we have the 90s still a couple more days today, tomorrow, but it looks like we have a little bit of a cooler streak. Actually, though those temperatures would be above average, it's going to feel cooler compared to those 90s and the heat that we have had here through the week, and we will see a little bit of relief as far as those 90s, so that'll be good news for those electric bills. Now for tonight, though, maybe you just want to have some fun, kind of blow off some steam after a long work week. You're going to be finding that at 7 o'clock tonight, that is the beginning of the Old West End Festival. And of course, there's a lot of activities for that. But if you're headed out to that this evening, you're going to find about 80 degrees. And then we will find that we're into the 70s as we go into the evening. But it will be warm still overall. And we will have the dry weather for those who are headed out to the festival. Of course, that sunset going to be just after 9 o'clock. So you'll have a couple hours of daylight while you're there and then a little bit of that evening glow. But overall, don't forget the parade. That's on Saturday. It's going to be another warm one. We'll be working our way into the 90s by the weekend. But even as we look at the pool cast, I bet the city pools are going to be quite busy because we have 90s again today, tomorrow, and then 82 on Wednesday. We'll have a steady breeze, so you may not need to cool off at the pool. Maybe the breeze can keep you chilled enough. But we have sun all of those days. That UV index going to be in the high category here for the weekend. So make sure you have your sunscreen ready to go as you're sitting by the pool or even swimming. Make sure it's waterproof. You will find that, though, we have plenty of heat to be spending some time by some water, whether it's the town pool, going to your best friend's pond. You're going to be finding overall some conditions that are quite nice. So we're going to be having those mostly sunny skies as we go through. Now, also looking into the weekend is graduation. Of course, we've had some graduates already through. Maybe you have a party that you're going to be attending. You're going to find that we have the heat here for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It's going to kind of have more of that June heat, and then we have that steady breeze on Wednesday. But even as we look at the Saturday forecast, there's no rain for those who are having those parties. So if your get together is around 1 o'clock, if that's when it starts, we'll be in the lower 80s by then, but it really doesn't take long and we have a lot of heat. So just plan on the 80s and even then the 90s for those parties that are going to be in around 4, 5, 6 o'clock. That's when we're going to have those upper 80s towards 90 degrees. On Saturday, plenty of sun, so hopefully you can find some shade at some of those parties as well. And as far as the muggy conditions, looking at today's forecast, things are going to overall be comfy and pleasant. So that is really good news considering that we still are looking at 90s, but that also means there's not a lot of dew on the grass to help the crops out, but there's also just not a lot of comfort, or there is a lot of comfortability until we head overnight. Tomorrow looking to be a touch stickier on our Saturday, but overall then by Sunday, conditions cool out a little bit and 80s are a little bit easier to handle. And now you'll find that we're already in the mid 80s once again here in the middle point of our day. And we're once again seeing a setup that has really the Great Lakes region and then further south and west where we have that heat. And we're kind of sandwiched with a little bit cooler to our east, a little bit cooler towards our northwest, but overall a very summery look into the northeastern corner of the country. And then we have those 90s for today and tomorrow, and then there's that drop on Sunday to 82, but it's just that breeze that we're watching playing with Lake Erie because it'll be coming out of the northeast, so we'll be watching that. We have 89 though once again on Monday, so we're not quite done with the heat. If we didn't have the breeze on Sunday, that number would be a lot higher. But we have a little change of pace as we go into the early portions of next week. You're going to find low to mid 80s as we head back to work. For much of the week, we have a full 5-day week since we don't have Memorial Day. And then that next weekend, we're looking at 80s. And I'm hoping if you have the WTOL 11 weather app you've seen, we might have a chance for some rainfall then. But so far this season, we've only stacked up 2 days in the 90s, but overall, it's been pretty warm for a lot of these. As far as last year, we were at 23 days where we had the 90s. The average is about 19, so kind of having this early start, we're going to be close to getting to that average, and hopefully, though, we fall short of the record set at 44 days. That was back in 1988. So as far as the dry, I know a lot of you have been saying, okay, it's a little too dry, we need some water, and we desperately need some water. We've had our 12th dry days. Today we're working on day 13. As far as May rain, we should be looking at a little bit higher than less than an inch as far as what we've picked up so far this season. It's our 6th driest season that we've had as far as what we should typically have for rain. Usually we have a lot of rain during this time. So when we do have the chance to find some rainfall, of course we'll use radar with the WTOL 11 weather app. But also if you have the daily tab, you can use that, and then you can see we are eyeing some chances a little bit later in the forecast, but it's still going to be a while yet until we can talk about some rain. At least though we don't have the summer heat. It's still going to be summer-like, but at least we don't have the 90s that are going to be holding on a little too strong in our forecast. Because once we get through today, tomorrow, even though Monday we're flirting close with that, we have mainly low to mid 80s for our forecast. You're going to find dry weather. That breeze on Sunday, keep an eye to that one. That'll be playing with what it feels like as we go into the afternoon. Saturday and Sunday, though, I know your eyes are jumping there. Finally, a mention of some kind of rain. So we'll be keeping an eye to it if it can hold together as that data gets a little bit closer in picture. But overall, we are going to be looking at a dry forecast. Still some heat here to get us into the weekend, and then a little more of summer sensation as we get settled into June.